What's up? Welcome back to Cryptographics. Today, I know we got 55 people in here already. Holy cow. Guys, today we have the one and only Whales Only in the house. Now, if you don't know who Whales Only is, that's okay. You're about to, and you're about to be blown away. This is the man that actually got me into Hex and this whole ecosystem. I had been searching for a way to understand how all of this stuff worked. And so Wales is the guy that articulated in such a way that I've never been able to hear before. And his macro talks and his micro talks are both painful for the brain to listen to sometimes if you don't quite get it, but when you do get it, it blows your mind at the depth and the precision that he's able to articulate himself with or in. So without further ado, guys, please help me welcome on the one and only Whales Only. Whales, thank you so much for being here, my brother.
Thanks for the introduction, man. That was one hell of an introduction.
Hey, man, it's well earned, man. Honestly, well earned. So, real quick here before we get going, guys, I'm going to pause and I'm just going to make sure we welcome everybody in because we're already getting a lot of people in here, and this is going to be good. You guys are not going to be disappointed with this stream. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, we got Sweaty in here. We got Pulsechain Hex Game, Terry Doc. We got holy crap, we got so many people in here already, man. You guys ain't ready. I'm telling you right now.
Man, we got a pretty cool community, bro. That's all I got to say.
I know. I honestly think, from an objective perspective, and not just because I am in it and there's a confirmation bias kind of happening by just looking within the group I'm in or looking outside from the group that I'm starting from. I haven't seen any reason to believe that there's a comparison between the community that we have and others.
There
I
definitely isn't.
Don't.
There definitely isn't. I remember the early crypto days when the notion of a community was just foreign. There was no such thing. It was just a group of guys in a forum talking to each other, and that was crypto. That's how you try to learn. And guess what? Those guys were not trying to teach you.
And how long ago was that too?
I'm talking like 2010, 2011. This was back in the day.
This is okay. This is from the beginning, right?
Yeah,
right.
I'm talking about from the beginning, right? When I was trying to understand what the hell was going on because nobody really knew.
Right.
All this stuff is still really new. And this is the thing that's hard for people to really wrap their head around. I mean, they're busy looking at the dollar price. They don't get it.
Yeah, it's a massive what do you even call it? It's almost like a
knowledge cap. It's like a knowledge cap.
Yeah,
it is a distraction.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, think about it. Do you think that these guys that were hoarding BTC 10, 12 years ago gave a damn about the price?
They know what they hold.
If they knew what they held.
If that's a better point.
Yeah, because I didn't know.
Right.
RH was mining these damn 50 BTC reward blocks back in the day.
I know.
50C blocks, okay? Not purchases, mining blocks.
Insane. Yes. Insane to even think about. But because we could go off right here, and I want to pause real quick, and I want to give everyone a quick time to just get comfortable, and I want to make sure everyone is familiar with who you are. So real quick, we're just going to jump into the chat, and we got Balliot Brandon here. We got Bufo on the beat. Brand is the man, dude. We got Hexicat, also the man. We got Hamoon. We got Bufo. We got so many familiar faces who are always showing up, always showing so much support.
That's right.
It's so damn cool.
Yo, we're just lucky, man. Think about it. We get to just anybody that wants to add value, all they have to do is just do it, and they will automatically have an audience.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah,
it's powerful.
It's powerful. And the cool thing is, and this is what really gets me hyped about it, right? Because, going back to my little history, I started streaming for Hex January 2021, and it took me like a week or two, man, just to do my first stream because at the time, the sentiment was just as negative as it is now. Nobody understood anything, really. Like, they might say they did, but nah, I fucking highly doubt that because the sentiment I saw on Twitter at the time, I guarantee you a lot of these so-called OGs wouldn't still be around. Yeah.
It's crazy. The sentiment was the same then. So you think it's the same. So is it the same in its like percentage of people that are in the community, or is like what do you mean exactly by the sentiment?
So the sentiment is very negative around Hex because people have been selling it down since 50 cents.
Right. Right.
And people are not understanding why. The average person is going to look at that chart and be like, what the hell am I missing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm staked and I don't understand why these other people are getting out. That's
Mm-hmm.
an average thought, right?
Yep.
And these are the kinds of things that drove me to try to understand markets to the level that I understand it today, where I can sit here and confidently tell you that you just messed up looking at the chart. You're not thinking straight,
Mm-hmm.
literally not thinking straight. And now, why is that? Well, it's a 2-year-old chart, number one. Number two, it's already done 10,000x all the way down to what, 1800x now? I
Something like that.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a buying opportunity. And this is from the all-time low, okay? So yeah, I get it. It's not at the 10,000x from launch to peak, blah 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 blah. But the
Mm-hmm.
point is, the opportunity and the potential is there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point, right? Because if it happened one time and nobody knew about it, nobody. I mean, you want to talk about the size of the community? I'll tell you what. In my mind, well, the one thing that messed up the community was Pulsechain launch, because it invited all these plebs in here to think that they can dictate anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? And no,
Mm-hmm.
they cannot. You're subservient to us Hexicans, whether you like it or not. It's irrelevant. Because guess what? If you can't understand Hex and you don't even understand crypto, because the only reason you're here is because it's just a fucking ETH fork, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy to understand. I'm sorry, and no disrespect,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And we got to keep the facts clear, cut, and dry, because what's happened since Pulse Chain launch or announcement is that there's been a constant delineation, right, and the quality of the community members that we're seeing. And we see it from time to time, difference. And you know what? It's okay. We're here to educate,
Mm-hmm.
right? But those that don't want to be educated, that's where the problems come into play,
Mm-hmm.
right? and this is what crypto is all about. Crypto is not about looking at a chart and staring at the dollar figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's only because that's what's being promoted to you now. It's not actually what it's about. But again, we come back to all about education. No matter the topic. If you're not properly educated on that topic, well, somebody's giving you the story. You don't actually know. You don't actually understand.
Exactly. And like we were talking about before, that you and I are all of us are filters for information.
That's right. We have to be, because we have to talk to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, think about this. How are we onboarding anybody into Hex if everybody isn't trying to appreciate what we have going on here,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, I onboarded you some way, somehow, because I helped you connect all these dots that you
Yep.
could not connect prior to.
Mm-hmm.
So my level of explanation was significant enough for you. It might be not significant enough for somebody else, or it might
Mm-hmm.
be overtly significant for somebody else.
Right.
And that's the cookie, right? And this is what people don't want to understand in a lot of cases. Like, yeah, you want everything to happen now, but guess what? It's just not the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not. Why the hell is the price down 90%? Because people are losing confidence in, I don't know what, because nothing's changed.
Nothing changes with the code. Nothing changes with what's happening, with what's about to happen.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
So
Nothing's
what
changed.
does that tell you? One word: opportunity. Because again, nothing in the code has changed. Hex is still working just the same as it did yesterday and a year ago and 6 months ago. So what's happening is that all these people that weren't actually staked are exiting.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple. I mean, when you look at apphex.win/charts, what do you see? Well, you see that the staking percentage is down to, where is it? 9.311%.
It's come down even.
That's right. That's
Which
right.
means the payout goes up.
That's right. That's right. I ain't mad at you exiting the system.
Nope.
Not at all. You do what you got to do. But if
Yep.
you're selling out, well, guess what? You're selling out against yourself, because you didn't take the time to understand what was explained
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over again, right? Because
Yep.
look, Richard hasn't changed his tune. The code is locked in. What's changed there? Nothing. So, you sit back and you look at the landscape. So just from a RH ecosystem perspective, which you only have a few legs standing at this time, and that's Hex, Maxi, and Hedron, right? You got those three legs standing up so far. You're waiting on Pulsechain and Pulsex,
Hmm.
and then the wallet in the future, whatever that's going to be. I mean,
Right.
whatever.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But at the end of the day, the whole point of the story is that nothing has changed.
Yeah, people are still selling.
People are still selling.
The thing is, it's going to be so hard to. I don't know how people that are not understanding it now will get it. I don't know what it will take for them
Yeah,
to get it.
I know. $1.
Maybe
That's
a
what.
dollar. Maybe it's
No,
$10.
I'm telling you, that's what it's going to take. $1 and up.
Yep.
I don't know if it's $10, $5, 10. I don't know.
Hmm.
All I know is $1 is what does it for people, because people don't like to learn.
Hmm.
People, in fact, when I went into building the trust, when me and Kinetics were talking about how we are going to do the pricing and all this stuff, that was a topic because we didn't want the price to be too low. We didn't want it to be too high either.
Hmm.
Taking into consideration human psychology, because this is how markets work. Not my opinion, not his opinion. It's how the shit works. You understand? So this is what people don't like to realize. Yo, if there's anything people like to throw away, it's opportunity.
Which is crazy to me.
Right? I mean, think about yourself as a young man. Yo, if there's anything I did as a young man was toss away opportunity left and right.
Oh, dude, yes.
Right?
Hmm.
Not just me. And we don't even live in the same area. We don't have the similar backgrounds, nothing.
Exactly.
We're just in crypto. That's it.
Hmm.
So that just, yeah, but that's kind of like the thing, right? It just goes to show the importance of these generalized conversations.
Hmm.
And how they tie into crypto and how you end up here and how you end up looking at these scenarios. Because the people that are exiting, they can't take it back, bro.
Hmm.
There's people that were selling at the bottom 9.1 cents and they were selling a lot of Hex. Not a little bit. Now the price is at 10 cents again. So they're already down 10%. Boom.
Hmm.
All it took was what, 20 minutes? I don't even know how long it's been. 2
Not
hours.
long. Has it been?
Let-
Yeah, something like that. 2 hours or something, I think.
Let me get the time. I mean, it's crazy. No, it hasn't been 2 hours, has it? No. Holy crap. Hour and 45 minutes, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
we're rebounding like crazy.
On a 5-minute candle basis, we're still 20 minutes short of 2 hours.
That is crazy to me.
And these are the things that people just, this is Hex, man. This is a business. This is not some rando coin.
Hmm.
And this is the thing that people just don't want to respect. But you know what? They'll figure it out eventually. Because the only reason Hex is in the position it's in is because you had a lot of people lying for a long time.
Like an unbelievable amount of people.
Yes, sir.
It was
I mean, how else do you get from 50 cents to 10 cents?
Exactly. You have a misconception. Something's going wrong internally in people's minds where they don't understand what hold,
That's right. That's exactly right. Because again, nothing's changed, brother.
Yep. Oh, exactly. And I think right now, real quickly, because I want everyone who's in here who doesn't know about you real quick, before we go way too deep, I want quickly to find out a little bit more about you, who you are. So how did you, I guess the main question I could ask you is, who were you before crypto? And then how did that lead you into where you are today?
So before crypto, all right. So I've been working on Wall Street really since 2010. And I was fortunate enough to still be in school, be able to network my way into the kind of job people go to IB for, investment banking.
Right.
To work at a hedge fund straight out of school. I ended up realizing that I didn't like being a front office employee because you're just a pretty face. I don't give a fuck about that because your opinion doesn't matter. Nothing you got to offer actually matters. You're just there because you're capable to do bitch boy work and you understand what they're talking about.
You can fill the role.
That's it.
Yeah.
your value add is non-existent. It's irrelevant. You're not there to add value. You're just there to fill a slot.
Mhm.
And I didn't want that. So I didn't stay there, and I just ended up doing my own thing. I did that for a year. I ended up doing my own thing. And at this time, I already knew about Bitcoin and all that. But I'm trying to learn the Wall Street game because that was the game at the time. Bitcoin and all, I didn't understand the internet and all those things that we now take as commonplace because
Mhm.
I'm not from that. I didn't grow up in that kind of environment where tech was the forefront of anything. I grew up in the streets, so my approach to this game is a little different. Um, I had to learn how the internet works. I had to learn how computers work. I had to learn all these different things.
Mhm.
And even when I thought I knew them, right, I still had to continue learning because I'm not a professional. It's not like the
Mhm.
markets, right? I can run laps around everybody when it comes to markets, but I can't run laps around people when it comes to the tech side of the stuff because it's not what I've been doing for a decade plus,
Right.
right? And that's logical. But when it
Mhm.
comes to this market stuff, you better listen because hey, I really the only thing I've been wrong about $10 call, but the only reason I was wrong about that is because people misunderstood what I said. And you know how people are, they just run with stupid shit. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that was one of those stupid things. And I didn't give a fuck. I was like, all right, fine. Y'all want a $10 call? Knock yourself out. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Because I said numerous times, probably not going to happen. And if
Mhm.
it does, this is what would need to happen.
Mhm.
So I always laid it out. It's not like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Nah, that's not how it works. So, it's just, again, it's all about education, understanding, right?
Mhm.
And long story short, I spent a decade learning how Wall Street works and really over a decade. But I don't talk about that because that's really pre my professional time in the business.
Right. Right.
But I really started in college trying to learn. The first thing I wanted to do was work in real estate. And unfortunately for me, it happened to be in 2006.
Oh no.
Right at the top. That's right.
Oh
So I
no.
find myself in this real estate class, which is in New York. You got to take a class before you can take the test at the time. And long story short, that didn't happen because I was smart enough to see that that was the top. So I
Mhm.
never pursued that. So I ended up trying to go to school, and that is kind of how I ended up in finance. And after that first year, interestingly enough, I was trying to do electrical engineering, and I realized I wasn't capable, and it was because I wasn't good enough in math. And me not being good enough to be an engineer drove me to be good enough to be a bachelor in mathematics, which is better than being an engineer.
That's pretty cool.
Well, that's life. And this is
Yep.
the kind of thing that I like to implore upon people because if this little schmuck from the Bronx can do it, anybody can. Anybody can. Bro, I'm telling you, I had no quantitative skill set as far as I knew, right? Until that
Mhm.
point in time where I decided, yo, I need these skills.
Mhm.
I wasn't born with them. None of us are born with them. I mean, we got it. We might be born with certain levels of understanding and certain levels of appreciation, right, of certain aspects of life. But all in all, you have to want in order
Mhm.
to attain, in order to achieve, in order to acquire. You have to want. Things are just not coming to you,
Mhm.
right? And those that's one of those things that's very difficult for people to put themselves in a position to understand and appreciate. So, for example, I started in this game back in the early days. I found out about Bitcoin in 2009 when I was still in the service, so to a certain extent, and I couldn't interact with it because I was overseas. Now, I was
Mhm.
working as a civilian at the time, but being in the service, you find out about all these weird technologies beforehand, before they even come out. And the reason for that is because everything is tested there first, right? When you look
Mhm.
at weaponry and all these things that you find to be commonplace now, the entity that first tested it, did it all, is always the military. Not even the federal government, but the military, right? And those are two very important distinctions because when you work for a Fed, when you work as a Fed, work for the Feds as a civilian, it's not the same thing as being a cog in the wheel because the way the government works is that the civilians actually dictate what happens within the military. And that's one thing that most people do not understand, because the average person just presumes, oh, president said you got to go, you got to go. Nah, it's not really that cut and dry. That's why you don't see U.S. armed forces just going wherever, Brandon says they got to go, because that's not how it
Right.
works, right? That's really just not how it works. And of course, if you're not in the service, you're not going to know that. You got to experience it. It's just like, any other armed forces. I can only speak to the one I've been a part of. I can't speak to the Marine Corps. I can't speak to the Air Force. I can't even speak to the Romanian Navy, right? I can't speak to none of these other entities that I do not know, but I can speak to the one that I know about, and pretty confidently, because I've seen things from the big picture point of view, because I was in combat theater, not at home chilling in garrison environment where motherfuckers aren't getting shot up at, right? So it's a whole different vantage point that I have to have about life, just because of the kind of life that I've had to live. Right. So here I am finding all this tech, not understanding a lick about it, ignoring it, trying to engage, but ignoring it. Right. Because what happens is that when you think your cup is full, you're good. I had a plan in my head. Bitcoin wasn't part of it. It was all these other things. So while I had the opportunity, I didn't make it. I got left behind, because I didn't take it seriously. I didn't take technology seriously. My macro understanding is not what was not then what it is now. Plain and simple.
Of course.
And this encompassed learning all of these different aspects of life: technology, capital markets, human psychology, how governments operate, how humans that are in charge treat government or use government, and just all these different aspects of life. I start mumbling and stuttering because it's so many different topics. It's so many different things. If this game was so easy, there would be a billion RHs, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
And people do not understand. There's a reason there's not.
100%.
And when I sat here, I found Hex, because I had been in crypto all the way up to a certain extent up until 2017 top. Then I thought the feds were going to come in and shut it down. I didn't believe in Bitcoin. I still wasn't fully knowledgeable to that point, even in 2017, where I could understand that this wasn't it. See? So I had to, like, all these steps along the way, because this is the funny thing about regulations. No matter how much you know, there's some other regulation that you don't know.
Right.
Because there's thousands and thousands of pages. You can't know it all. You can't know it all, right? So it's all of these different things, man, that set me apart from everybody else. That literally allows me to be able to connect all these moving pieces like an accordion. The world is this big accordion, and if you don't know how to compress that thing and to make it that, how when you compress an accordion, you get that pretty picture of whatever that piece in the middle is, out of that like plastic type piece.
Yep.
When you compress it, it paints like this little picture. And when you expand it, you don't see it. Now, if you can't compress that instrument so that you can see that picture, well, you're missing pieces. You don't have the skill sets. You're missing all these elements that don't allow you to make it look pretty when you're compressing and expanding that instrument. Right. And this is the thing that I went through, man, because it's easy to make money in markets, bro. It's so easy, but it's so hard to keep it. And people do not respect that. And this is what's so dangerous about crypto, right? Because in crypto, you're not engaging these similar contracts. Actually, you don't know what you're engaging unless you know how to read the code. Right?
Which is not many people know how to do, if any. Who knows how to do that?
That's right. Very few people.
Exactly.
Right. So unless you're willing to sit there and put in the work to go understand what these words mean in this context, in the Solidity contract or whatever, right? Because Solidity, I'm guessing, isn't the only software that people use, right? I don't know. I only know ERC20, so I don't really know.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know. But, the point is, you got to know. If you don't know, somebody else is, again, telling you.
And you're missing part of the picture.
You're missing part of the picture, right? And this was one thing that kind of moved me about RH when I rediscovered him, because I had known him from the early Bitcoin days. But again, I'm not like a YouTuber. I wasn't none of that. So I didn't really follow him like that. I just knew of him because I was in crypto. It's not like I was watching his YouTube videos like a lot of guys in Hex. I don't follow him like that. I don't really follow anybody like that. Because when you stand alone your whole life, it's hard to just follow somebody else like that, especially when your experience in following has never been positive.
Why would you? Why
exactly.
would you?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So taking all of that into account, right? I get out of crypto 2017. I go back to capital markets, and this whole time I'm in between both worlds, honestly. Right. This is why I can speak. Like put me in a room with anybody that's from Wall Street, they're gonna fucking understand Hex in 2.5 seconds. No doubt about it.
That's a crazy thought, but yeah, it makes sense when you put it like that.
Yeah, because Hex encompasses all these different things that nobody in crypto knows shit about. That's why it's a scam. That's why everybody in crypto is a furu. There is not one single individual in this space that holds a candle to RH, period. Fact, not fiction. Not a single one. So when you see these clowns speaking out against RH, all you can sit back and do is laugh, because you full and well know they haven't put in the work that he has. That's why there's only one Hex.
Again, and there's been others that have tried, and look how that went for them.
All the copycat coins, right?
Oh my god, yeah, exactly.
Plenty of them. Plenty on BSC, plenty on ETH, and they've all failed. Why? Because they tried a shortcut. Whatever shortcut it is, they try it, and it don't work because it's meant to fail. That's why staking and Hex is superior.
Well said. Very well said. I want to pause right here for a quick sec, because I know that we missed a super chat real quick, and I want to make sure Alan, I give him the credit for it. So Alan, first of all, my friend, thank you for the $5.
Shout out to Alan. He's always at every stream too.
He's everywhere. I see him in everyone's streams, man. You're dope. Thank you so much for the $5. And Alan says, real estate is tough when you eat it for 3 years, but eventually pays off, just like Hex. Patience is key.
That's right.
Well said.
That's right. And imagine if I would have stuck with it. I mean, it would have took maybe 4 years for me to see some positive return from getting into real estate at the top at the end of 2006, really 3 years.
Right.
Because it was actually 2007, because it was December 2006. But either way, point is, time is everything. Delaying gratification. Look, dude, when I know a shit ton about real estate, I don't talk about it because what for? Pointless.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, pointless. So what is there to know? What's there to know is that mortgage rates are at all-time highs. Incomes, all-time lows. Cost of living, all-time highs. Value of what you get paid in, all-time lows, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like where are people gonna run to for safety? You can't go to the stock market. You can't go to Bitcoin. You can't go to Ethereum. You can't go to any derived coins thereof. Right? I mean, it's almost like you can't even go to Hex in a lot of ways. But what happens if people don't look at Hex like they look at everything else, and they actually realize that it's something else? Because it's not just a coin like everything else,
It is so different. It's nothing even close to anything we've ever seen before. It's not even, when you break it down, and I mean, it's DeFi, but it's a brand new type of DeFi.
Oh, it's legit DeFi. It's not Fugazi DeFi.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, well, you talking about total value lock when you can actually eject the button at any point in time. Don't quite think so. It's not really total value lock, bro. It's total value just sitting there.
Very different.
Ready to get pulled at any point in time. Only Hex actually has total value lock, because if you emergency unstake that, it's going to be a cost.
And you pay it to you and me.
And you pay it to, that's right, the other stakers.
Yep.
The other market participants that understand the system and are participating in the system.
100%. 100%. I think that's the one thing that people got to realize. You're staked for the longest. You get all these opportunities where people don't understand, and you do, and you're the one who benefits from it. And it's 100%. The only one way to benefit from it, is to participate in the side of Hex that it was designed for,
Literally. I mean, think about all the people that are not staked, and missed all those EESs.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. I mean, dude, my yield relative to my principal stake is greater than 50% already.
That's crazy.
That's right. And these are the things that I think about when I hear people complaining about price and all this other nonsense that I can't even fathom or process because it just makes no sense to me when I'm here literally giving you all the rat piece, all the cheese pieces that you need to nibble on and not fall into the trap, the rat trap.
I like that. Yep.
Because it's true. I mean, I think back, yo, at all the things that I did to try to learn to the point that I am this whales only guy. It costs money, bro. The shit was not free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
people think it's just free. Like, nah, that costs money. That
Mm-hmm.
costs me time. That costs me all these things, and people try to act like that's just irrelevant. Like, I got all these videos giving everybody all this alpha.
All and alpha in all capitals, like in the
Yo,
deepest sense. Like, I'm serious,
all
guys.
of that is timeless information. I don't have
Yes.
to stream ever again, and those videos are still valid.
But
Period.
weren't you saying actually, as a segue, weren't you saying that you were thinking about the first number of presentations that you did, like
Mhm,
the one that I think it was number one that got me hooked, the first live stream you did on Hex? Had
probably.
I heard that you were saying that you were looking to redo those and
Yeah.
represent them?
Yep. Yeah, I plan
Amazing.
to, because I wasn't prepared. I was just kind of freestyling. I'm never prepared to do a single stream. Like, it's very rare when I actually have slides done. You know, I don't do that as I don't have the time. I
Mm-hmm.
do this really just to help others. It's not like I'm making money off of this, right?
Right.
Like, there's
Right.
guys out here that are making money off of YouTube. I don't get a million views, bro. I don't got a million subs. This ain't a money maker for me. I'm sorry. So I just do what I can. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
but
Yep.
people take it as if it's a job, though. People
Mm-hmm.
don't put themselves in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you'll come to see that because you really just started streaming. I mean, back in my day, you wasn't getting 1,000 subs for like, it took me 6 months to get 1,000 subs. Not just because I was in Hex.
Right.
Shit, it didn't
Exactly.
work like that back then. Motherfuckers just get 1,000 subs not just because they here. They don't actually even got to put in work, and that kind of bothers me.
And
Because
it's
what's
completely
happened?
fair.
Yeah, well, no, it's not that he's even fair. What's happened? Well, what's happened is that it gives people this ability to earn this nonsensical clout that they don't actually have.
Mm-hmm.
You got 1,000 subs doesn't mean you actually are 1,000 sub worthy, or 5,000 sub, or even 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you hit the community at the right time. You see what I mean? When
Yep.
I hit the community, wasn't nobody. It was just a few of us relative to now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But now people think that they're just supposed to walk in here and get some shit handed to them in their hand. Like, no, go put in the work like everybody else did.
Well,
Work.
even when I came across you, Wales, I think you were in the couple or few thousand sub mark, and you said you've been streaming since January, and I found you late August.
There you go. 8 months.
So I mean,
Case in point.
things have changed
That's right.
in this sphere for sure.
Couple thousand after 8 months.
That's crazy.
People are getting a couple thousand after a couple weeks.
That's that's what happened to me, and it was like, what the hell
There
is
you
going
go.
on here?
There you go. I should be jealous. All right. Like, what the fuck, guys? Like, no, but no, it's just right place, right time. And that's good because there's nothing wrong with that. But you got to earn that shit and make sure you don't lose it. You know,
Mhm.
why is it that when Whale speaks, nobody says anything? They just shut up.
Mhm.
There's a reason for that. I've earned that. I didn't come up on here just pissing in the wind. That's not
Mhm.
what I do.
Mhm.
Right, and that's important because how else do we build this credibility, not just amongst ourselves as streamers, but within the community, because people listen to us.
Mhm.
I was buying the top just like everybody else.
Yep.
I'm not immune. Buying the top just like everybody else.
Yep.
Right
I
now,
mean, I did.
yeah, well, a lot of people did.
Yep.
I mean, you got this guy that was caught on camera for the movie that I think he put 125 down at the top.
Oof.
So he's down to 12 fucking G's right now.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's right. 13 G's, whatever it is an ugly number, bro. It ain't fucking 100K. Right? And these are the things we got to think about. You know,
Mhm.
how does that happen? How do we end up here? What could we have done better then? But coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever. That's
Mhm.
why your ass should have staked.
That's a point. That's the point.
That's the point.
That's the point.
That's the point. Because, yeah, you might be down 40, 50, 80, 90%.
Mm-hmm.
But are you not collecting daily yield? Because guess what? I'm not sweating the price at all because I see every day in about 22 minutes, homie knows it's time to collect. And I don't got to even check.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I like it. I don't got to go outside, harass nobody, beat up nobody for $40, etc., etc.
Yep.
Give me my money, give it to me on time, and don't fuck with me. That's what we all want.
Yep. Nice
Pretty
and,
simple.
just nice and simple, as
That's
it should
right.
be.
That's right. Nobody wants all this craziness, but yet that's what we get.
I know.
In fact, that's what they sell us. Bro, let me tell you about trading on Wall Street.
Let's go.
Right? As a retail trader, right, you coming into the game, you got nobody to tell you nothing. Guess what? You out here, and I'm talking about trading futures and FX. Now, no stocks where you got 9 to 4 and all this lame shit. Now, you got access to the market 23/5. Know how dangerous that is?
That is, yeah.
It's very dangerous, bro. And crypto is even worse because it's 24/7, not 23/5, 24/7.
Mm-hmm. All day, every day.
All day, every day. Imagine all the people walking into this arena cannot read code, cannot ascertain the difference between BTC and Ethereum or Litecoin or anything, and they're just clicking away. There's plenty of guys out here doing that. Don't get it twisted. And it's sad because what's happening is that they're just learning and they don't really know what's going on. Because that's how we all start. We're just clicking away, click, 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 trying to figure it out.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I remember my first foray into markets. It was $800 in FXCM.com, I think it was the name of this foreign exchange brokerage at the time. I think they were like the biggest ones in the world too at the time. $800. I'm just here trading Euro USD, not having a clue. 5-minute charts, 1-minute charts. I'm here thinking I'm doing something. I ain't doing shit, right? But you don't know any better because you're full margin. You're not paying attention. You got no clue. All these different things, and you don't got a clue.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward 14, let's go 12 years later to when I found Hex. Man, in fact, it was literally around the same time. From when I did that to when I found Hex, around the same time of the year. It was winter time. I found Hex basically in winter time. It was just, man. When I found Hex and I heard this dude, and by this dude I mean Richard, talking about yield and all this, I was like, hold up, what? Because that had not existed in crypto.
Mm-hmm.
To hell with those staking platforms and all that funkiness. We already knew from 2017 we didn't want to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear that word again, but with different words surrounding it, it piqued my interest. And the only downside that Hex had and still has at this time is the fact that it's on Ethereum. I really, really hated that at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it. I would be in the Discord chat complaining about that shit and people did not understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But they eventually fucking did. Didn't they? Because here we are. Pulsechain, motherfucking imminent.
Exactly. And we're so close. And I think this is a perfect segue actually to the big picture and talking about Pulsechain. But before we do that real quick, we got 2 more super chats. I got to shout out J-Soul, my man. Thank you so much for the $2. And also we got Crypto King. Thank you, Richard Hart. Whales Done Told You. Shout out to Cryptographics, my Hex agents, fam, my Hexican brothers and sisters. Bang, bang. Thank you, Richard Hart. Just stake Hex, bro. Well said. I don't know how much this equates to in Canadian, but I don't care. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Do the math later.
Well, yeah, exactly. Never do math on stream.
Right.
Yeah. So I think though this is perfect because speaking about Hex and how, the only problem with Hex is a theory, we have that solution now coming, but I think it's easy to see like, okay, we got a blockchain coming and, it's going to solve the problem, but what does it mean? What does it really mean that Pulsechain is coming? What does it mean for the macro side of things as well? Like what really does Pulsechain mean to the world and to those who discover it?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because, here we are sitting in the midst of a bear market. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just getting started. Right. And look, in Hex, we've been talking about a bear market for over a year at this point. We've been talking about bear market and risk assets flat out for over a year. And here they are on time. And what's happening? Well, what's happening is that everything is going down. But what started going down first? Hex. Hex topped out in September. Not in November. Not in November. Now, why is that? Well, probably because Hex was supposed to launch, or Hex, Pulsechain was supposed to launch around then. And then came another delay, and then came another one. And here we are again. Same scenario today. It's a never-ending series of delays. Now, the same thing happened from what I've been told leading into Hex. Same exact thing. People just upset. Oh, I'm tired of waiting, blah, blah, blah. It's so bad that now you even got people that are trying to launch projects complaining on Pulsechain. Yeah. Yeah. Like clearly you don't know who the fuck is building this, because you should probably just shut the fuck up.
Just wait. Just wait it out.
Just shut up. Look at how Hex is working. Do you think that you got the room to talk to RH in any kind of fucking way? Does anybody have that room? No. Period. Everybody needs to shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, or go build your own fucking chain. Those are the only options you fucking got. So pick the one that fits the fucking best and get the fuck out of here. Pretty simple. Because again, this is our shit. This ain't your shit. And what RH says, kind of what goes. So, wear the shoe, don't wear it, doesn't matter. End of the day, we're going to continue to win. And that's the whole point. Because we operate from a specific vantage point over here. And this is why we don't lose. Right? I mean, Hexicans were known for a long time as Team Win. That really stopped after the community got bigger, which came with the advent of Pulsechain launch, or the announcement of Pulsechain.
Right.
Because now you have all these other people that just don't want to learn. They just want that quick however many X's because, Pulsechain, E4, blah, 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 blah. That's it. Like, we got to be honest. That's honestly what's going on. And you see it. You see it. The sentiment is uneducated. It's not educated. It's not even, it's just slacking, bro. It's just a bunch of plebs, and it's okay. They're going to learn.
How fast can I get my 10,000X?
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I get it.
Of course. We all want it.
We all want it. I want my 10,000X too. I've never gotten a 10,000X. I did. I wasn't at the start of fucking Hex like a lot of these crybabies. A lot of these crybabies were at the start of Hex. Believe it or not. And they're fucking crying today.
And wasn't the Hex, didn't Hex take 2 years to launch from when it was originally supposed to?
That's right.
Or from when it was announced, maybe.
2.
That's,
2 years.
And we're not even 1 year out of Pulsechain yet.
Pulsechain announcement, maybe this weekend. It might have happened last year.
So it was May, kind of this time last year?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And the sacrifice phase started in June?
July.
July. Okay, right.
Because what happened? May was announcement of Pulsechain. Then Vegas, first one. Vegas won. Right. Then sac phase, which started in July 15th, I think, and then ended August 2nd, I think it was. Right. Because that was then the Hex pump started a couple days after. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And then we kept pumping up until 50 cent, and then no Pulsechain, mo dump. Kind of like the day.
Yep. So
go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, so with all this being said, like, what is Pulsechain to the rest of crypto? Like, there's two ways I want to look at this. One, I want to bridge this over to what really crypto is and why everything that's happening right now that is taking a little bit of time that people are not happy about is so relevant. And what is Pulsechain to the rest of crypto? What is it doing, and what is it about to do to the rest of crypto?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because nothing like this has ever happened before. And I think that's the biggest caveat to start with, right? Because when we speak about this, you got to kind of understand that this is a first time situation in so many ways. You've had many ghost chains before. You've never once had a chain with everything get copied over. This has never happened. It's always been a hard fork or some craziness, something completely different. So this is the first time. And a lot of people in crypto, or excuse me, in the promise coin space, to speak accurately, do not like RH because Hex is that good.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's that good, they're going to try to down talk the superiority of what Pulsechain is going to be. And
Mm-hmm.
we say it's going to be because it's only on testnet. But if you go try that thing on testnet, well, you already know it's better than ETH
It
and
is
everything
sick.
else and everything else that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can have failed transactions, and all you gotta do is keep trying it. It's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not gonna not work.
Exactly.
That doesn't even happen on ETH. And here's another thing: you're gonna run out of dollars before you get that transaction through on ETH.
Yep.
Assuming you were not around in 2015, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be around for ETH launch and pick up a bunch of ETH at 15 cents.
Yeah, which I don't know anyone that I've heard of that has. So I mean, there's that.
I know a guy or two, but not a lot of them.
Exactly. They're rare.
Very rare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's the point.
Yep.
I mean, you got Bitcoin people. I think the only person I know well that was around early Bitcoin days and clearly still has a stack, RH.
Yep.
That I know well. I don't know many other because I don't follow Bitcoin like that. But the prominent Bitcoin figures are not those people.
Do you think that guy that bought that sold the pizza for that 10,000 Bitcoin, you think he still has that?
I would hope he still has some
I do
BTC,
too.
bro.
I do
Damn,
too.
because I'd hate to be him.
I think I saw it today. It was like 300 million bucks if he still has it. I know.
And we're talking about just 10,000 Bitcoin.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
look, I've tried to explain Hex to people before. They're letting the unit bias get in their way of their understanding, and I get it. I get it. But I show and prove. There's only but so much talking we can do, right?
I know.
So,
I know.
I'm building in the background, doing the things I gotta do because the world has to change. It's not gonna change because motherfuckers on the internet talking about it. That's not how change happens, unfortunately. So, I'm doing my part. You got others that are doing theirs however they can, and everybody's doing their 2 cents,
Mhm.
right? Because that's the thing. If your thing is being on the internet, then that's where you need to be.
Mhm.
Period.
Mhm.
You got to be where your skills are best used.
Yep. Well said.
That's the angle. And for me, it's not on the internet because I don't need to be on the internet. I'm not an influencer. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I have no interest in that.
Mhm.
Right. So that's not my game. My game is Wall Street. I know that game full and well. I know all the bullshit tricks they play. Hell, I got a whole 100 freaking videos letting you know. Go look, pick one. Literally, pick one. I mean, each one is a block of instruction on a topic of how you're getting the wool pulled over your eyes. I mean, crypto exists because Wall Street sucks. Pretty straightforward.
So I think that's a perfect segue to Hex and cryptocurrency in general. What really to you, Whales, because you've put it, I know many people in here that have listened to your streams have heard you go off on what cryptocurrency is, but I think we need to hear it one more time from you on this stream. What is a cryptocurrency, and how does Hex relate to that to the definition by you?
Sure. So simply put, a cryptocurrency is a protocol that allows you to exchange value, financial value, without a financial intermediary, just peer to peer. Simply put. So, how does Hex meet that definition? Well, very simply put, it's not on a centralized exchange. You and only you interact with the code. Nobody else can see what you got unless you point them to your wallet. The market is pure. There is no manipulation in the sense that the people selling have to buy it back. And that's going to move the market against them, just like it moved it against them when they sold it. So it's all of these factors, right, that make Hex a true cryptocurrency. Now, of course, yeah, you got some supplies on some centralized exchanges that are negligible, but I think it's like 97, 98% of the Hex supply that's decentralized, meaning not on a centralized exchange. And how do I know this? Well, I had to put in that work to figure it out when I was typing up this legal document for these regulators to search and read and go through. So guess what? That shit better be right or I'm screwed. All right.
Exactly. It's gotta be right, man.
Yeah, it gotta be right.
Yeah.
So, that's how much hex is sitting on a centralized exchange.
Mhm. It's
Two
so
to three
small.
percent. That's right.
It's tiny.
That's right. And that's how you control the motion in the ocean, right?
Mhm.
Because what's happening? Well, people are out here just playing this game that they don't actually understand, right? And what's happened over the past 10 years is that the promise coin space has been erected around Bitcoin, which was supposed to be cryptocurrency.
Mhm.
And all they're trying to do at this point, at this point is just replicate the stock market. Simply put, that's all they're trying to do. You
Mhm.
got options on cryptos, for fuck's sake, really?
Leveraging.
Come on. How are you going to put leverage on something that moves thousands of X's?
I mean, it's not. That's why I'm not trying it. Even just the sentiment behind what you said alone, it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, but think about it. A lot of
Uh-huh.
people out here, and of course, luckily, some people are smart enough to steer clear, man. But a lot of
Mhm.
people out here losing their whole livelihoods playing that game.
Mhm.
And they're being pushed in that direction by the same people that I down talk daily, and we got to down talk them. Like,
Mhm.
you can't sit here and let these fools, like, it's one thing to be sitting in Hex and be down 80%. It's a whole nother thing to be down 80% on Bitcoin. And you don't even own a whole one.
Mhm.
Like, there is no power in that position. Period.
Mhm. Mhm.
Doing like price is not giving you any convexity whatsoever. Price is not doing anything for you because you don't even own a full one. Oh my god. I mean, that just sounds horrible.
Mhm. That yeah, that almost kind of hurts to hear.
Yeah, it should. I mean,
Mhm.
one Bitcoin. We're talking about people that can easily buy thousands of hex because it's
Mhm.
that cheap because people don't understand it.
Mhm.
And now you got Maxi, right? Like, come on, man. Like, oh man.
Oh.
Look, Hex is so good that it's going to take people a long time to really wrap their heads around it. And it's clear that even people within Hex don't understand it. Because if they did, you wouldn't be seeing these price actions that you're seeing now. Because who's selling it? People that already own it. You
Mhm.
can't short Hex. So that
Mhm.
means only Hex holders can sell it.
Mhm. It just means there's a massive lack of understanding.
Correct.
Mhm.
Massive. Not
Mhm.
not somewhat, but massive.
Well,
The
it's
fact.
so.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's so big that we've gone from 56 cents to less than 10.
That's right.
That's insane to even think about.
hmm
Mhm.
Yeah, but think about it, right? What's even crazier is that people are out here lying to themselves and then letting their emotions take them out of the trade.
Mhm.
Now, in a year's time, how do you think they're going to feel about that?
Oh.
Worse than they do now, actually.
Mhm. Oh, definitely. Because
hmm
not only are they down because well they're going to be down, but they're going to know what could have been. You know, that
That's
the
the
feeling
problem.
of knowing how you made a poor decision and it went really really bad. Not only did you make the poor decision, but it's backfired on you to a
In a
degree that you
major
can
way.
never live with yourself with. You
Nope.
know.
Dude, this is why. Okay. So let's go back to my finding of Hex and my understanding of Bitcoin and how I dropped the ball in such a major way
Mhm.
multiple times, really, throughout my first crypto foray because I just didn't put in the work.
Mhm.
I was treating it like a stock market, even though I kind of understood what was going on.
Mhm.
I wasn't taking it seriously because I did not understand the internet.
Mhm.
Pretty simple. Now, once I understood the internet to the point that I realized, yo, they can never shut Bitcoin down, and that's why it was at the price that it was at then. I think it might have been on its way to 20 at the time, but the second time, not the first time.
Right.
Um, and you know, like, how was it still around? Because it was still around, and it shouldn't have been according to my calculations from fucking 12 years ago at the time, and I was so wrong, right?
Yep.
So what was I missing? And that was a thing that was really getting to me, right? And I was thinking this really for a long time, man. It's one thing to think about it when the price is a couple thousand, whatever. But after that thing broke 10,000, I was like, all right, I need to seriously assess what the fuck I fucked up here. Like,
It's
that's
because
when
it's.
I was like, yeah. And I hadn't found Hex yet. I don't think I hadn't found Hex yet at the time.
Mhm.
So it was really, an eye-opening moment for me because while I was already looking for hex, I didn't know I was gonna stake it for 15 years, right? Like, who thinks of that?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. Like, you gotta be full and well understanding what the hell is going on to be staking your hex for 15 years. And a lot of guys think they understand, but they fucking don't.
Mm-hmm. It's a hell of a commitment. You really got to know you really got to know so deeply. Otherwise, why would you ever do it?
That's right.
You're only going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year stakes. If 5 of you're crazy and you don't understand it,
That's
it's
right.
you're going to feel crazy.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's empowering.
Mm-hmm.
Once I fully understood what a t-shirt was, what was going on, all that nonsense, I understood full and well at that point in time that the only move was a max stake.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other optimal stake because what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You're not playing the game correctly.
Mm-hmm.
All you're doing is saying, "Hey, I want to get some gains, sure, but I'm eventually going to get off the train."
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Not realizing that, hold on, you actually own the ability to make money back for 15 years off of one purchase. Think about that. You have the opportunity to make money back for 15 years off of one purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't walk into any store and get any kind of deal like that.
It doesn't exist anywhere else.
It doesn't exist anywhere else. And these are the kinds of things that I think about. Everybody likes high yield. Everybody likes to chase yield. Everybody likes doing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you really doing to make it happen? How do you wrap your head around the understanding that you need to have to realize that you got to have diamond hands for real, or even better yet, graphite hands or graphene hands or whatever metal you want that's overtly strong.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a serious level of understanding to get to that point. It doesn't just happen because you're ready for it to.
Mm-hmm.
It happens because you want it to. How did I come to find hex and respect it and all these things? Because I decided to put in the work. A lot of people do not still understand hex. Still, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of work to understand it. Honestly, it takes time. It takes different perspectives. You need to sit there and think with it. You need to put in hours sometimes. And like, how long did it take you, Whales, to understand? Like, what from day one? From day one, you learned about hex till the moment you were
6 months.
6 months. There you go.
6 months, and luckily I was streaming. It would have taken even longer if I wasn't, because I had people to talk to. I was learning in front of everybody. That's what Quant Gang was.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through week by week, trying to understand what the hell was going on. Because, all right, like, yeah, I understood a T-share. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hulk hands is right. But what are we doing to get to the point where you fully understand that this is just a calculator and it does a specific monetary function? And that's why you don't have to worry about anything else. It's just a calculator. You're worried about anything. You're worried about something that's just a calculator stopping from working. That doesn't need anything but the internet to exist for it to work.
It's amazing that it exists.
Yes. Now, what's the driver for the hex code? This is what a lot of people don't even talk about. What's the driver for the hex code? Computer time.
Right.
Man, that is nonstop, sir. That's the battery. That battery never shuts off. Nobody talks about that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a reminder for all the plebs that just sold at 9 or 10 cents. Good luck.
Yep.
Because I don't feel sorry for you at all. Because all this alpha I'm dropping right here existed a year ago. That's why I don't feel sorry for anybody. That's why I don't pull no punches. I don't give a fuck. Because guess what? All this information is readily and freely available. All of it. You do not know it because you do not want to know it.
Yes. It goes back to what you're saying originally about why you had the desire to get in and get your bachelor's of math. You had the desire and you felt the need and you did it no matter what it took. You You figured it out. You put the time in. You made it happen.
That's it. How the hell did I go from being an engineer to being damn near a mathematician? It's not even the same thing.
Exactly.
So far apart, it's not even funny. But
Mhm.
it's because you got to want it. This is why I do not have any concerns about people that, they just want their hands held and they don't really want to put in the work. Like, it's one thing, you can give somebody a couple tips
Mhm.
and, you give them a couple tips. They understand that, yeah, I'm going to make some money right now. And that's it. That's like giving a man a fish
Mhm.
instead of teaching him to fish. Right.
Mhm.
Everybody knows that quote.
Yep.
I'm literally just trying to teach people how to fish. I'm not trying to give you a fish. I have no interest in giving you any fish.
Mhm.
None. Because
Mhm.
you're not going to be best served by that. You're not.
Never.
You're
No
just,
one
you're
ever
just
has
not.
been served by that. No one
Nobody.
has.
That's right. No,
Yep.
nobody. That's right. And that's how I treat it.
Well,
So, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say what's interesting. I mean, if, from a macro view, I mean, like that analogy is kind of maybe a reason why a lot of our society is the way it is today. We're not being taught how to fish. We're being given fish.
That's right. That's right. Think about it. You as an employee are being handed what? Fish.
Mm-hmm.
The employer is fishing.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to fish.
Mm-hmm.
You're just being given fish.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. Nobody knows how to grow their own food. Nobody knows how to make their own money. Hell, nobody even knows where money comes from in most places.
That's a very valid point.
So you better rest assured
Mm-hmm.
they don't know a damn thing about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't even grow food and you don't know where money comes from, then you're just SOL. And I ain't talking about solidity contract extensions on a code line. You know what I mean? Like, you're SOL, shit out of luck.
You're out of luck.
That's right.
Yeah.
So these are the kinds of things that people don't, they don't take into account. They don't take seriously. They just, they're rich. They're good to go. They're going to figure it out eventually. All these people that are dollar rich right now,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to learn a hard lesson about not taking into account third and fourth order effects.
And what do you mean by that?
Haha, yes, I was going to go into that.
Okay, perfect.
Because I know, I'm pretty sure nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. And that's fine. Because you're about to learn something that if you understand it and make it your business to understand it, you will be just as good as me in terms of analyzing anything, because this is all I do. It's just about figuring out how dots connect. Now, how do dots connect? Well, there has to be something tying them. There's always something tying something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally all it is. Because how else do you get to the point where your analysis is spot on and all this nonsense? Well, it's wash, rinse, repeat. That's the only way to get good at catching patterns. I mean, I'm just calling out patterns. There's nothing else to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is all pattern recognition. I talked about food shortages and supply lines, 8 months ago? I warned people about this.
Mm-hmm.
7 months ago? People acting like they didn't know. You knew. I told you 8 months ago, bro. Don't act like you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about it so long ago that I don't even feel the interest in doing anything now. Like, I don't have to repeat myself. You were
It's
there.
there. It's out there.
There. It's out there. I mean, and that's the thing. People just want to be spoon fed, and those are the people that I'm not here to help, man. I'm not here to spoon feed you.
Mm-hmm.
I even people that pay for this so-called pay group, I'm just giving them my thoughts, the alpha that I no longer give out. That's
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are so concerned with the wrong alpha.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that alpha that people want. Now you're gonna pay for that. The real alpha is free, and nobody wants that alpha. Isn't that funny?
It's a very weird thing how that's
Mm-hmm.
so prominent. You get the thing that's free, but no one wants it. But if you want, if you can pay $10,000 for the same thing, you're gonna get people lining up for it
All day, all night. Ain't it sad? I think it's sad, honestly.
It
But
is.
hey, man,
It is.
everybody's gonna do what they want to do, and that's how you have to take things, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My whole mission after my first video was to literally try to find a way to educate everybody to the point that they were as educated as me. So I had this bright idea, which didn't work out as great as I was hoping it would, of making all these videos, going through these topics, making it topical, because every week something's happening. Every week something's going on. So every week there's literally something to do, something to learn, something to talk about. And the reality is that everybody doesn't really want to know. Everybody doesn't. Everybody just wants to be told. So you gotta come to the realization of where you are and where your audience is at the same time, right? Because it's not about pulling back on the work. It's about making the work so good that everybody can understand it. And that's the key, right? Because at the same time, while we want to be filters to a certain extent, we don't want to not empower people to enter this arena. Because I think that's the big thing is, and I've been saying this quite a bit lately, the only barriers to entry in this cryptocurrency game is you. Because there is no space here. There's no, we literally, us Hexicans are the space of cryptocurrency. There is no cryptocurrency space without Hex. Everything else out there is literally middleman city. Whether you want it to be or not, don't matter. It is what it is. I think Monero might be the only other thing that I can think of that isn't middleman city. Because they kicked it off exchanges. And that's the only reason.
Right.
Because they didn't want you touching it. So it works, clearly.
And it seems like anything that actually works, you won't find it on an exchange,
That's right. That's right.
Unless it's PulseX, which I would love to know. Like, there's a lot of people are talking about, from what I've seen, I'm sure what you're seeing too, the difference in value over the long term behind Pulse and Pulsechain versus PulseX. And what's your take on that whole equation?
Yeah, I talked about this a long time ago, interestingly enough. And I think people just have to come to the realization that they need to look at these things in simple terms. Like, I get this is crypto and the tech and all that bullshit, but, it's just blockchain, man. It's just another market. Look at things as what they are, right? And this is just infrastructure. Now, how important is infrastructure? Pretty fucking important if you ask me. Now, look at Ethereum, look at Uniswap. They seem pretty important. I don't know. Just my opinion, right? Where are all these other layers that people are, fucking acting like they're the future of crypto and all this nonsense? Where did all that come from? Well, that came from the inability and the lack of utility in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Plain and simple. And nobody even likes to talk about that. And I don't even bother because it's like, well, I just be having a conversation about myself in most cases anyway, but I feel like I could have that conversation with you. Because everybody seems to like looking at these other things. Like, if they're, I get it. You want to own it all and all this bullshit, but that's not really how you win. You own the best things and you own them fucking hard as fuck. That is how you win. Look at Warren Buffett. What's his strategy?
Just keep doing the same thing year after year.
I just told you. I literally just buy the best things and all the fuck of it.
Yep.
All of it. As much as you can. That's the only strategy, bro. That's it. And unfortunately, man, as humans, we are taught to overcomplicate things. And I've had to unlearn that habit because I feel like we all have that habit, bro. Like, that was probably the best thing I got from teaching myself math. And let me tell you, I went to school for math and everything, man. I taught myself math before I actually got the degree for math.
Which is cool.
So as I was going through these courses, I'm like, this is fucked. Yeah, because I already knew the subject matter. I was refreshing myself on the topic because I had already learned it previously. That was all. So, and let me just go back a minute. I went back to even pre-algebra, bro. Like, I knew nothing, okay? Like, nothing. Will Smith fans, y'all out of control. I didn't even see that.
I didn't until just now either. Oh, Alan, you're awesome, my dude.
Yo, this is what I'm talking about, man. Like, come on.
Oh my God.
Oh man, yo, this is too funny.
I
But
love this
again,
community.
yeah, again, but this is the cool thing,
Mhm.
right? We're sitting here talking, educating people, and why, while we're here laughing and these guys are having a good time, we do know that they're intaking the information
Mhm.
because these jokes don't come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
You got to be paying
Exactly.
attention, right?
Yep.
And that's cool, bro, because how do we go? I mean, it was just a few hundred of us last year. Now it's thousands of us. I mean, there must be at least 50 hex streamers, if not more. I mean, I don't even know. It's too many to keep up with.
I know. I feel like I find out about a new hex stream almost every other day.
Yeah.
It's
Not
crazy.
not before it was every other week.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's cool though. Also, like but you're right. It's been happening like so often, and I mean, I definitely think that is a good thing in a way. Or no, I think it's a very good thing. But
So it's good and bad, right?
yeah.
Because what happens is that you have people that are just chasing some kind of attention,
Hmm.
but also you have people that are just actually trying to add value.
Hmm.
And what happens is that some folks get lost in the mix
Hmm.
because you got the fame chasers, and then you
Hmm.
got those folks that are actually just trying to add value and not be fame chasers. But it's so easy to
Hmm.
get caught up in the mix nowadays because you got all these little groups within the community now,
Hmm.
right? Like everybody kind of went on their own mission, own agenda, and they left the community behind in a lot of respects. A lot of people have done that. And you see it just in the Pulsechain bullshit. This is all the Pulsechain bullshit. You see it.
Hmm.
That's where you see it. And this is how I know, and everybody can say what they want. But hey, man, everybody sees it too. Don't think I'm the only one that just sees it. I'm just the only one that ain't scared to say the shit, bitch. So that's all. That's the only difference between me and everybody else.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
don't think everybody ain't watching because we see all.
We really do, and that's why people like your sub count and the people like your audience does not reflect the information. I think what it reflects is the amount of people that are able to comprehend what you're saying, and
Right.
that it's just so much easier for people to hear the hype and
Yeah.
to
People
understand
love
that
that
than to hear
FOMO
the
shit.
alpha. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm fucking, uh, like, look, I've been working on some. I've been trying to figure Hedron out. I think I'm close,
Hmm.
but I want to make sure the math is right before I release that. But one thing I do know is that a lot of people just are gonna get left behind in so many ways. Like
Hmm.
Pulse Chain is gonna make evident those of us that put in the work and those of us that are just hoping to ride other people's coattails.
Hmm.
Fact, not fiction. You're gonna see a major bifurcation in the community in terms of wealth from that perspective because a lot of people are gonna get themselves right and a lot of people are gonna play the game the right way.
Hmm.
And that's just how the cookie crumbles and I'm looking forward to it. Straight up.
Me too. Me
I'm
too.
not worried about it.
I think that's why exactly. And I think for everyone listening right now, I think that's why it's so important. Like right now, everything going on in this space, like pay attention, learn more. This
This
is
is
the
the time.
time
That's
to
right.
go in and dive in with every hour of the day you have to spare to try to understand what is going on. Because this may never happen again.
Ask questions. I don't know our lifetime.
Yep.
I mean, think about this. This is going to literally be the biggest transfer of wealth in our history.
Mm-hmm.
In our history, cryptocurrency is going to experience the biggest transfer of wealth ever from one market to another.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because one currency that is pegging them all, i.e., the dollar,
Mm-hmm.
is done.
Mm-hmm.
It is no longer going to be used as a reserve currency, and you're seeing it in the market sentiment. People are
Mm-hmm.
shedding assets left and right. It's not a surprise that Bitcoin is down and all this shit. What's interesting is to see Hex down alongside the rest of the market because what's happening is that people are reacting.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Hex goes down first, and this is why it goes up first. Look at the chart. Well, I'll take my
Mm-hmm.
word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the information I'm sharing ain't my own. It's just what's on the chart. And that's what people do not understand. They seem to pretend to want to think that somebody's out here sharing some magical information. Like, no, no, no. It's just what the code does,
Mm-hmm.
and you just gotta respect it, man. I mean, I've never taken such an easy trade in my life. This has literally been the easiest trade of my life, and it
Mm-hmm.
continues to be the easiest trade.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to not want to buy all the time, with all the money that you have. And I
Very
really wish that there's a way to easily make people understand. But I think it's also when you work for it and you finally understand, it feels better and you're more convinced, and you're not more
100%.
convinced. You just have this conviction to the way like you're acting in your life, in a general, and like,
Mhm.
why you're doing what you're doing. So that way, where your actions, the fruit of those actions, where that fruit ends up.
Right, where it's gonna take you, what the end result's supposed to be, like what is your goal, what are you trying to achieve?
Yep.
Like look, and this is why, I speak in the way that I speak. I never even speak in absolutes. I tell people, hey, this is the information I've come across. Do your own research,
Mm-hmm.
confirm,
Mm-hmm.
verify. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I say this. I constantly say this.
Mm-hmm.
And people act like I think I'm right all the time. Nah, you just not listening.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be right all the time when I don't know everything, and I'm letting you know I don't know everything. All right.
Exactly.
So, but again, it's just about being aware, man. And I even wrote one of my most favorite things on my Substack, which is called, what the hell was it called? Something about being aware. And let me pull it up just so I can give you guys a title.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Awareness, defensive offense. Right? Now, what's the point of that? Defensive offense. Think about it. What are you trying to do? You're always trying to advance while not taking risk. But that's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Literally
Can't avoid it.
impossible. Yeah, you can't avoid it. People think that they're only buying a financial instrument. They don't realize that they're buying their freedom.
Boom. Alan. Yes.
Couldn't have said it better, bro.
Damn.
Yep. Shut me up.
Dude. Yeah. That's why I did there was like, I don't know if doesn't matter if you saw it or not, but I made a video a while ago about the 10,000x hedonic effect of Pulsechain, PulseX, and all this stuff.
I
And
haven't. I'm gonna watch it though.
it's and the message behind the video. I mean, I led in with the video talking about like, winning the lottery and getting prepared.
Oh man.
But the thing is the core of that video is what we're talking about now, is knowing so
That is
deeply
coming.
of what we're doing and why we're here and where things are going, that what's coming. And you're prepared and you have all the information and you are ready for it. And that it doesn't just take you off guard and all of a sudden you start making weird decisions in your life because you're surprised by it. And holy crap, I got money that I wasn't expecting. I'm going to go buy 10 Lambos,
Literally how it happens, man.
Exactly. So I think that, Alan, with your comment too, it's so true. You're buying your freedom. And when you know what you're buying, you want to buy more of it because you can never get enough, really.
Never. Never.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. That's awareness, right? I'm constantly saying, yo, I wish somebody would sell the hell out of Hex. Let that thing go to 1 cent. You think it's not going to go back to 50 cents? You got no idea what's going on here.
Yep.
No idea. There's literally a whole gang of people just salivating right now, hoping some other dumbass tips the market even lower. Yeah. What? Of course. And what's going to happen? What's the cure for lower prices? Lower prices.
Mm-hmm.
What's the cure for higher prices? Or for high prices, excuse me. The cure for high prices is higher prices, just like the cure for low prices is lower prices. Why? Because you need to incentivize that actor on the other side of that position to ultimately want to let go, whether it's down or up. It's about hitting that maximum pain point, right? You want to hit that point where people cannot fathom what they just experienced, to the tune that they have to pull the ripcord and just reverse. That's basically what that is, right? Think about it. What pushed you to stream? There had to be a point in time where you thought to yourself, man, I got to just do it.
Yeah. There was definitely a point where I was like, I have to, everything in my life was like, I was trying to talk to people in my life about Hex, and I was trying to speak about these things that I was learning. And it just came to a point where luckily I had a friend who challenged me and was like, you want to grow? You should either start a channel or you should go on TikTok. And I was like, damn.
Oh wow.
It's like, damn, dude, you're right. Okay, well,
That's a good friend, bro. I never had anybody challenge me. Well, I'm lying. My sister challenged me like that, but not specifically like that. I'm too ignorant to be that smart. So it just kind of happened. Right? Like you had somebody point you in that direction. Like that worked out for you.
I was very fortunate to.
That's what I needed.
And I'm so thankful that I have my brother. You know, like not my brother, not my brother, but a brother.
Yeah,
like
a
that,
brother,
you know?
brother. Right? Yeah, a brother in arms, so to speak.
Exactly. You know, so that's why I started though, and I'm so thankful that happened. I mean, it's so cool, and it
Changes your perspective on life, doesn't it?
Oh, you know what? I think that's one of the biggest things that I have learned from this. You know, I've had you have so many views growing up of yourself, and
That's
then
right.
through that frame, you then see the world. And when you have something that collapses that view, even minutely, everything, the framework which you thought was the way you would run your life now starts to disintegrate, and you start to learn about people in the world differently and about yourself, and you act differently and you speak differently and you learn to trust yourself.
That's it. How else could we be talking about these concepts in public?
Oh, I know.
Like people have made financial decisions based on the information I'm providing. Mm-hmm. Don't think I don't know that. I take responsibility in the things that I say. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody should. And a lot of us don't. But everybody should. Because guess what? There's a lot of people out here that aren't doing exactly what you say. Mm-hmm. See? So because they're not doing exactly what you say, you have to speak in a very specific manner to CYA. Mm-hmm. Because motherfuckers will pull up the tape. Mm-hmm. And if they can pull it up and put it in your face, they're going to.
Oh, absolutely. Every time.
Every fucking time. That's why nobody says nothing when Whale speaks, because they fucking know that shit is on tape already. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't even got to say nothing. I'll just go pull it up. Hold on, I'll be right back.
No one could even try to FUD you. It's so true. So, guys, I hope you're enjoying the stream right now. I think that those who are here that haven't liked the stream, if you're liking this so far, first off, remember when this stream is over, quickly go and follow Whales on Twitter if you want to hear more of his insights and his alpha. Follow him, or also subscribe to him on YouTube. And also, there's a newsletter that he has on his website as well that we'll talk about a little later. But go there, smash all the subscribe, like this stream, subscribe here as well. And I also got to have a shout out to Javon Scott. Thank you so much, my brother, for $4.99. You got a question that says, wouldn't it be safe to just buy hex and PLS and stake the hex and hold the PLS without doing anything and accumulating more?
Yeah. Whales? I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole point of the game right now is to simply be accumulating whatever it is.
Yep.
Just make sure it's the right thing for you and that you understand what you're accumulating. Because again, we tried to speak about the distinction between PLS and PLSX, right? And then with respect to those two, the distinction between those two and hex, right? Hex, store of value. Pulsechain, Pulsex, infrastructure. They're both relevant, both important. You cannot have, now, you don't even need the coin for either of them, right? I guess you could just make whatever, but they exist, and they exist in a very specific form. They're unlike any of their replicative coins, right? PLS is not like ETH, and PLSX is not like Uniswap token, whatever they got. I don't even know. So people need to take a serious look at that, because what you don't know about the clowns that are coming over trying to replicate their BS over here is that they're gonna break up the market in sectors. And now, what the hell do I mean? Oh, well, you got layer 1 chains, you got layer 2 chains, you got layer 3 chains, you got side chains, you got fucking dexes, you got sexes, you got all this crap that you don't even know exists because you're just looking at it as a coin. And that's how, and that's how all of you rookies are gonna get wiped the fuck out eventually. It's okay. You'll figure it out.
And I think, talking about these, like hex being the store of value and Pulsechain being the thing that you want to accumulate, I kind of look at PulseX as the fuel station in a way, as a token and as the system that we have to work with PulseX, because once you have some PulseX, you have a free path to dollar cost average or getting more of either Hex or Pulsechain or PulseX. You use those staking pools and you can accumulate more and also bring capital into this ecosystem and double up.
I mean, just hear that. Say it again. I mean, damn. I mean, you said it, and I'm just sitting here like, damn, that's such a good deal. Because it's just a good deal, man.
It is. It's the best deal. It's crazy. And we like, not only you get a free airdrop, but you have an opportunity to buy something that can get you more of that thing you got for free and the thing you want, or both of them, or anything else. I mean, it's just mind-boggling that we have the opportunity to have all of this just boom right in front of us before it even gets to the mainstream.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Like imagine if you could utilize some of your Hex that was generating Hex at the rate it was, and you could pull some of that out without emergency end staking and utilize that to get the other things that you want as well, while it's still accumulating.
Still. And growing in value because the dollar sucks, which is true, right?
Oh, the dollars. I love the way K4K put it. He said, the dollar is like the worst crypto ever with like a constant inflation bug.
Yeah, it's just trash. I mean, it's literally worth nothing.
Yep.
It's been disintegrated from, let's call 100 years ago 100.
Yep.
Right now it's worth less than 1. Right now. It's worth nothing, and people don't realize that. And I think the bigger problem with that realization is the fact that because they can't feel it right now, they think it's not real. They don't understand how these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, I could explain it a million times, but again, if people don't go and do their research, it's not going to matter what I tell them. Mm-hmm. It's irrelevant. They're not going to know. They're not going to see it. They're not going to see it from their perspective, and it's not going to matter to them. And that's the danger in taking other people's words. You got to take their information, not their words, because their words are their own. But that information that they're sharing with you, those objective bits of data, that is what you need to extract from people. And I'm pretty good at that. I mean, I've really done myself a very good career at being able to pick good information from bad information. And I think that that's something that you got to really you got to really want to get that, right? Because a lot of people think they got you figured out type of thing, right? And you got to just let them hang themselves sometimes. And I'm really good at that. But how do you get good at that? You get good at that by reading people, letting people think that they know something that you don't, letting people think that they have something that you don't. It's just about reading the room, letting people be themselves. You can't go wrong when you're letting people be themselves, right? And if you look at what's happening now politically, well, hell, what the hell is happening with just that? Isn't that funny? Real time. And these are the kinds of things, that as we move forward in this game, some of us will elevate and some of us will fall back because people like to play these games. And there's no games to be played here. Like, this is real life.
Yep. It's as real as it gets.
People need this shit right now. People don't need games. People need salvation. I mean, like we were talking about, I don't know if we even talked about this on stream, but before stream, we were talking about out here in New York right now, what's happening? Well, what's happening here is that they're literally stealing Uber Eats orders now.
It's that bad.
It's that bad. I mean, that's new. That wasn't happening until this past week. Literally.
That's just crazy. That's a milestone in how far we've fallen.
That's right. And that's something for people to think about. Because it's coming to your neighborhood one way or the other.
Yep.
Because guess what? Shit's getting expensive everywhere.
Everywhere. I mean, dude, in the past how long? So right before the event happening over in Eastern Europe, gas where I am I'm in Canada. Gas was around $1, which is high at the time. It was like $1.60 a liter. Now it's $2 and almost 30 cents, and it's continuously climbing week after week after week.
Lovely. So
it ain't going down.
No, it's not.
And this is the tip of the iceberg, you know.
Yes, yes,
This is the thing is the system is slowly, and all the things that we have that are upholding the system, they can only function like this so long before things get really bad and someone finally just says, you know what, now. And then everything changes overnight. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could easily happen like that. It
right,
might not be the end, but it could be the point that tips us to a place, a societal place that we've never been before.
right. I mean, movie level type shit, right? At least
Yep.
for us
Yep.
in our lifetime, right? Because when I was born, yeah, the Bronx wasn't the best, and it was burning and all that good stuff. But guess what? It is not that anymore. It's a very very nice shade of what it used to be.
Right.
So if it falls back, it doesn't take much to push it back in there,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I mean, think about the places that are low economy, and meaning not a lot of economic opportunity there,
Mm-hmm.
and other places, or just all these places where people just have no outlet, man. Like when there's no outlet and there's no opportunity, that only leads to one thing, and it's not positive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. And this is what I grew up seeing. This
Mm-hmm.
is how I know that that's the end result. I already know where this ends.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in that. So it's not like I'm telling anybody something that ain't known. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to go do your homework, man, too easy. You figure it out. It ain't rocket science. They're just repeating what's been happened before.
Mm-hmm.
And only on a global scale versus what we're used to, which is maybe local, certain areas, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's catching that pain, bro. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the inflation is being felt by the world,
Mm-hmm. Oh.
not just certain areas, right? Like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think because we're painting a big picture here, a big overview of, the problem, what's going on and what's happening. But in your eyes, Wales, what is the solution? Not even the action, but the psychological solution to see what it is and start to get a grip on the overview in order to know where your actions need to go.
education is number one, man. Because if you don't know, you can't even be aware,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about awareness earlier. How do we even get to the point that we're aware? I mean, we got to know what the hell's going. Like, we got to know something
Mm-hmm.
in the first place. And I think the biggest issue we have is that not enough people know anything, and really don't know that they have to know anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because when I think about myself and how the hell did I end up in these positions where I ended up learning all of these weird things that nobody knows, that nobody cares about, that nobody thinks about, and it's just because of the type of life I've lived. I've been put in these positions to force me to learn these things.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows how to do what I just did with this trust. Nobody. But
Mm-hmm.
if you looked around a little bit, you probably would have figured it out too. And it clearly isn't rocket science if I could figure it out. Cannot be. It cannot be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm some dude that is not meant to be anywhere where I am right now. I'm not supposed to be a top dude in crypto. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be in jail or dead. Literally. I don't take that lightly because that's a reality that I grew up in, right? So how do we escape that as a society? Because that's where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was just little old me. How does Wales not die going home from school? That's what it was, right? How do you get from A to B in one piece? Now
Mm-hmm.
everybody's feeling that same pressure
Mm-hmm.
just to survive where they grew up. Never mind a place like New York City.
Yeah, I can
I
imagine.
mean, things are crazy everywhere, though, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just New York City anymore, and this is what I need people to realize. Because how do we change things?
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that things are not the same because they are not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you didn't want them to be the same, but because somebody else decided them to not be the same any longer. And it just happened. It's not that you just didn't want it to, it just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody that was supposed to be watching over was watching over, and it just happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're in 2020, 21, and 22.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening? Well, in a lot of instances, Unfortunately for us regular folk, things have to move slowly because what they do is not what we can do. Because then they can use our own element against us, which is what they do. And that's the bad part because what happens? Well, you get these people that get into these positions of power. And once they're in these positions of power, well, guess what? The law of the land states that they can dictate whatever they want. And
Mhm.
that's kind of what happens to a certain extent, even though that's not actually true. But
Mhm.
because people allow it to be, that's what it ends up being, even though it is wrong.
Mhm.
So then what happens? Well, what happens is you got to go to court. And once you got to go to court, well, then that takes time. And that slows everything down and it makes it look like nothing's happening, but things are happening.
Mhm.
And that's what people don't get. But again, this is what leads to, again, understanding the game and how it's played. And I've been fortunate enough to sit in these positions where I get to see how the game is played. I mean, I remember the proxy war between Georgia and Russia through the US back in 2008, 2009. Most people do not remember that.
I
Why the
don't.
hell? Yeah, exactly. Well, why would you? You weren't
Yeah.
there sitting at a table with a bunch of officers and shit talking about it. I
Mhm.
was, and I wasn't even no damn officer, but I was fortunate enough to be there listening in.
Yep.
I mean,
So.
think, but how do we get to that level, right? How do
Mhm.
we get to the point where we can open our minds?
Mhm.
I mean, I've been lucky enough to have been through a lot of shit, but there's a lot of things that I've just had to force myself to open my mind on because I had to.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the only reason I'm in crypto now.
Mhm.
If I wouldn't have took the time in 2020 before I found Hex to learn how the internet works, crypto wouldn't have made no sense to me still.
Mhm.
Because what am I doing this whole time? I'm trying to replicate the Bitcoin trade in my head, brother. That whole time,
Mhm.
I was already thinking about how I can replicate that Bitcoin trade after the crash.
Mhm.
But it wasn't with Bitcoin because I knew it wasn't going to be with Bitcoin.
Mhm.
No way. It's not going to happen there. So I find Hex and, here we are. But go ahead, man, because I cut you off earlier.
No, no, no. I honestly don't even remember what I was gonna say. I'm just
Ah,
listening to what you're saying, but
yeah. All good, all good. But I mean, you get the point, though. The
yeah.
point is, you got to be diligent. You got to be aware. You got to
Mhm.
want to know what's going on.
Mhm.
Otherwise, others are going to just tell you, man.
Mhm.
And you don't want to be the person that's being told because then you don't know. You're
Mhm.
relying on somebody else, and you don't want to make an important decision based on somebody else's understanding, not yours. And that's
Mhm.
even mine
Mhm.
because you don't know what's going on in my life.
Mhm.
You don't know anything about me.
Mhm.
You just hear me giving you this factual information. So you got to take this data and make it work for you. That's
Mhm.
ultimately what should be happening, but it's not what people do.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And that's a
Yeah.
problem.
And it's hard to break out of though is the thing. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know you it's just like you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know how to know what you don't know. And so it's like this internal trap, but you have to be like
Conception, really.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think one of the things for me that was one of the biggest eye openers, was kind of just asking the first question of like, why do we have the system? Why do we have all
That's
this?
right.
What is all this in front of you? Like ask literally questions are the greatest teachers in this.
But that question that you just asked is the most important one.
Yeah.
That's the most important one.
Hmm.
Who cares that this exists?
Hmm.
Who gives a rat's ass? It means nothing, bro. There's 1,000 million motherfucking markets out here. You don't gotta trade crypto. There's a million different ways to make money.
Hmm.
That's a
Hmm.
fact. So why is this market D1?
Hmm.
That's what people need to understand. Otherwise, they're gonna get left behind. That's not my opinion. That's a fact because we've
Hmm.
seen this movie play out before.
Hmm.
Tech happened there. Railroads happened there. Telecommunications happened there. PC world, tech stock boom happened there. Savings and loans in the 80s happened there. How many times are we gonna watch this cycle repeat itself? I've watched it enough times to know better, brother, and I ain't missing this boat.
Yeah, exactly. And when I hear people like you say that, it's like, okay, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna let people miss it if they're listening to me. And
Right.
I know that I'm gonna tell every single person that I can.
That's it.
And they may not get it. They may not, but I'm going to keep trying.
That's it, man. And that's all we can do. That's all we can do. RH is doing the same thing that you're doing, that I'm doing, that others are doing. It's all the same. Different vantage point, different ability, different whatever. Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say, and that's the importance. Before I get to the super chat, which Javon Scott, my man, thank you.
Yeah, he's dropping the dimes.
Yeah, dude, you're awesome. But that's why I think it's so like, as much as there are drawbacks to people hearing creators that maybe have more hype than objective information and alpha, let's say.
Right.
But I think that different perspectives are so needed, because let's say you and I have the exact same knowledge about something. The way you articulate it may not click with person A, but the way I articulate it clicks with person A, right? We need the more of those different avenues people can go down to access the same information, but in a way that they can digest. I think that's a net positive on so many levels. And not everyone's going to be able to, or not every creator is going to be giving that. Some of them are going to be just doing more of like the price, or, talking about hype or why it's exciting.
Right.
But I think there's more that, and I'd love to know what you think here. Like, is there more content creators that are giving the information that's relevant in a way that is educational and enlightening in a sense than not, or is it vice versa?
I would say it's vice versa, unfortunately, man. I mean, the main reason I do what I do is because I didn't see it. So I literally, like, all my streams are what I wish I would see others do.
Right.
I mean, the charts and all. I mean, I feel like that's what you got to do. I feel like that's how you fill that gap in the space. Because at the time, I hear these guys making all these claims, and I was like, how the fuck these dudes saying all this shit, but I ain't seeing no damn charts. It was the fucking craziest thing to me, because motherfucker would slap the shit out of you on the street with that. Like, what are you talking about? You got no evidence to support this claim. Get the fuck out of here. So I had to just do it myself. I didn't know anybody. So, this is where all these charts came from. I just had to put all these claims on the chart, bro. Like, what the hell are you saying? This shit only goes up. How so? Nothing like that work. Like, all these things that we all know and love, and we all say them every day now. But that's because it had to be shown to be true. And that's why I got so popular, because I showed all these things to be true. And ain't nothing else. I don't know anything that's not out there. It doesn't exist,
But you've done so much of your work that you can't not hold the utmost respect for it and appreciate it and want to wait for the next piece to come up,
Right. I mean, it's just because it's objective information. It's just about sharing information that is going to be useful for you, because that's what it's about. That's what's exciting. I remember those days, man, when we would talk about T-shares and how they work, because people just did not know. They didn't know. And I mean, maybe we got to go back to that, because the staking percentage is like 9.3. It's crazy. I can't remember the last time I seen it that low, but it's pretty freaking low. The last time I seen it super low like this, it was 9.5% or so. So
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I want to pause real quick here, and I want to make sure with Javon Scott, I read your message here again. My brother, thank you for the $20. It says Jersey is starting to get pretty bad. Had to open fiance's eyes to the world. She's living in it right now. I've been on this since 2015. She thought it was crazy. Now she's living in it and still wants to ignore the truth.
Damn.
I'm with you on it, man. That's tough.
Yeah, that's very tough, brother.
That's tough, especially when it's that close to home, man.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Look, I tell you what. Before Hex and 2020 and all this, word, you got it, homie.
Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, good looking on them super chats. Before 2020, I was living with this girl and all that, and I gotta tell you, man, just like I'm here talking all my shit for over a year and change now, the tune been the same since at least 2000, at least 2003. Ever since I was definitely in the military, I've been seeing what's going on clearly, to the point that I know so many things are scamful, and I've proven them and all this crap. But what happens? Nobody wants to actually go do the work. They just want you to give them that short book answer.
Oh, dude, yes.
That little textbook answer. Here's a teacher's answer.
The Cliff Notes.
Yeah, there's no such thing here. This is real life. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man, hold on. I got this damn buzzing in the background. I'm gonna just mute myself a little bit.
Yeah, you bet. Guys, I hope you're loving this stream. I haven't checked it. I don't know where we're at for likes. Let's see here. We're at, what are we at here? 305, 327. Guys, let's get to 315 likes real quick. I think we're gonna hold on. Tie up the stream. No, that doesn't work. We're gonna end the stream pretty soon here. I think I'd like to wind down, but real quick, guys, if you haven't already, please smash that like button and also smash that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for being here. I can't believe we had over 375 people here at one point. I think that is the most we've ever had on stream. So
congrats, bro. That's crazy.
I'm thankful for you for coming and having this amazing discussion. This has been more than a pleasure. And thank you so much to the chat. Everyone's been just going off in the chat, and you guys are just, seems like everyone's been really enjoying it as well. So Whales, my man. Okay, before we go though, do you have any final words first? Because I want to know if anyone can, the places people can find you. I know I talked about them, but I'd like to hear them from yourself. And final words for people as Pulsechain comes closer and closer, and we have Hex and PulseX and all of this, and we're in the heart of a situation that may never happen again, or probably won't happen again in our lifetime. What are the final words you want to leave with everyone that's here on how to look at this situation, and how to, or what you think they should see it as, or final words in general, I guess?
Yeah. Opportunity of a lifetime. Educate yourself. If you don't know, ask questions. But please educate yourself, because if you don't know, you cannot be aware of what you're missing.
Damn, that's well said. Love that. I'm gonna keep that as well, because you know what, we always forget that we need to keep going, and that, you know, what we see on the surface is not the end of it. We need to keep learning.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
that's right. I mean, that's the only reason I figured out t-shirts, bro. I could have just stopped at, stake it and done. Stake it like a club, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It seems so straightforward when you first, let's just teach you, just stake it and it prints this thing, and okay, cool.
Nah.
But no.
Not at all.
Exactly. But man, this has been so dope to talk to you, Whales. Thanks so much for coming on the stream.
My pleasure, man.
Pleasure.
Anytime, and I'll have to have you on mine soon, of course.
Dude, that would be awesome. So before we go though, I know I mentioned before, where's the best place where people can find you to like get in contact with you, or get more of your content, get your website?
So if you want to look at my content, I mean, YouTube, youtube.com/WhalesOnly. I'm on there. I got a Substack where I randomly write articles that are very poignant and to the point, and just very concise and good. At least I think. I try to make them that, so people aren't reading for 3 minutes. And I'm on Twitter. If you want to contact me directly, you can hit me up there. You can hit me up on Telegram, t.me/WhalesOnly. On Twitter is just like you see on the screen, but with a 1 at the end. So just reach out, man. I'm always willing to help. And I also got a website, WhalesOnly.com. Just random hex information, heat gun information, and charts there.
It's a great website. Those charts are so sick. If you haven't seen them and you want to see some really good charts, go to WhalesOnly.com, and you're going to see the best charts that you've ever seen for hex. They're so good. Yeah,
pretty much.
So again, my man, thanks so much for being here. Chat, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for all of you for staying for almost 2 hours now. This has been so much fun. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, if it's still evening for you. If not, I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Peace, and thanks.